Welcome to the Any Given Chance podcast. Stories about passion and sacrifice, what actually goes on behind the scenes in the consistent chase of everything. We're going to bring you some untold stories, some of people you know, some of people you don't. These stories that we bring on with our guests are nothing short of inspiring and will get you out there chasing your own goals as well. Join me, your host, 3am 365, Matty Menyon, as we dive into these incredible stories. And of course, as the podcast grows, so do we together. So stick with us from the start, hit that like and share, subscribe button, get your family and friends involved, and we'll see where we are in 100 podcasts. No days off, no excuses. Massive shout out to our sponsor, Squad Athletica. Guys, this training gears, you've got the training singlets, the shirts, they've got absolutely everything. They've got the 12-inch shorts, the 16, everything that you need for the running. It doesn't stop there. They've got yoga mats, they've got drink bottles, they've got you covered at all bases. I'm telling you, this training gear is rivaling Nike, it's rivaling Under Armour, it's at the forefront. And the best thing about it is it's right here on the Gold Coast. So supportable local business. You can jump over to their Instagram. It's at SQD Athletica, or you can jump online and check out their shop, Squad Athletica. Go through, select your little things, what you want to buy, new hoodies for winter, whatever training gear you need, and then type in your AGC code at the end, which will give you a little discount. That's AGC in the little coupon code. Can't thank you enough, and make sure you get out there and get in your squad gear. Woo! Big shout out to one of our sponsors, Black Rose Barbers. That's right. Go see Liam and the boys over at Black Rose Barbers. They're located on Lakeview Boulevard over at Mermaid Waters, right in between the Good Life and the 7-Eleven. Walk out of there feeling $1 million. The boys can cut hair, and he even does the cutthroat razor if you want to feel really fresh and fit on a Friday. You can book online at blackrose.com, or you can get on the phone and give them a call, but go support your local business. And the best thing about Black Rose Barber, you can sit in that chair and talk maximum amount of crap. You know why? Because the boys have got the answers. They'll solve the world's problems with you. I'm telling you now, they're a bunch of legends. Go support them. Tell them Matty from AGC sent you. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Any Given Chance podcast. Guess who I've got here? Ladies and gentlemen, Finny boy, how are you?
Good, thanks, mate. How are you?
Yes. Long story short, we need to throw a shout out to Sarge. Watching a few races with him, and he's basically turned to me. He's gone, mate, I've got one for you. You got to speak to this kid. He's on the path. He's on the up. He's exactly what needs to happen. So, mate, yeah, big shout out to Sardi. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, big thanks to him. He's the best handler on the beach, he calls himself. So
yeah,
he's going around again this year with me. So that'll be fun.
That's funny because he actually said that. He goes, I'm the best handler on the beach.
He does love telling everyone that. Yeah.
But mate, just give everyone at home, just fill them in. What do you do?
My name's Finn Askew. I'm a professional Surf Ironman athlete, training 3 times a day, 6 days a week. You know, pretty much this is my full-time thing, and I'm putting everything into it, and have a bit of career with a bit of surfing that beforehand, and you know, just really enjoy what I do right now.
Mate, that's unreal. How old are you? Where do you come from?
I'm 21 years of age. I come from a little town in the mid-north coast of New South Wales called Southwest Rocks. So grew up there and moved up to the Gold Coast 3.5 years ago now to chase my professional Ironman career, and been enjoying it ever since, yeah.
Yeah, Southwest, good surf place down there.
There is some really good waves.
Some secret ones too.
Yeah.
Like some big boys are like, a few boys down there and they talk about good jail as well.
Yeah, there is
up the hill.
Few sharks too, but
yeah.
It's all sweet.
So when did you make the move? When did you come up with Goldie?
So 3.5 years ago, it was pretty much right before like COVID broke out, and I was speaking to the coach up here, Zane Hamill at Surfers Paradise Surf Life Saving Club, and we were right before about to go into sort of all those lockdowns and all those restrictions and that, and he was like, mate, he rang me, he's like, do you want to do this? Like, are you serious about doing this? I was like, yeah. I'm in an hour in that.
A young 18-year-old.
Yeah.
Saying, yeah.
And he's like, you got to make the call right now, because otherwise, if you don't do it now, it could be year and a half, 2 years later, you know, like if you get caught down there with the borders and everything like that. So made the call that day, and then 2 weeks later I was moved up there, living with him, and moved up, and so it was a quick turnaround. A lot of tears from mum and dad and everything like that, but haven't looked back, and it was the best decision I've made. Yeah.
You love the Goldie?
Yeah. Really enjoy it up here.
How good is it? Like, that's what I always say to everyone. No one's from the Goldie. We all come to the Goldie. And we absolutely love it. Like, you'd be hard pressed to find a couple of locals.
Oh, 100%. I mean, like in our surf squad, there's one full, like actual local. Everyone is interstate from South Australia, you know, New South Wales big. We even got a few Kiwis in that, you know, they come from everywhere, don't they?
Yeah. But this is the place to be for it. One, how good's the weather? And two, it's the Goldie. It's world renowned.
Doesn't get any better.
You're not swimming, like you said, with 52 great whites. You're not down South Australia, like dodging or freezing, or, you know, you're not over WA where you know, swimming in a 3-4 wetty or something like that. How good's the Goldie?
Mate, it's ideal with conditions. It's why it's the pinnacle of surf sports up here. You know, you can head down to the beach and over like a 10-kilometre radius kind of thing, you have multiple strong surf clubs with the top Ironman and top Ironwomen. It's really the be all and end all. You've got to move up here if you want to be properly competitive.
That's right. So, well, let's go back to the beginning. How did you get into it? Who threw you into surf lifesaving?
Mum and Dad, it was just always like a thing we pretty much had to do. They were the junior age group manager of the club back down at home, and it was just, we were a part of that and always raced and competed in that. But my true love from like a young age was surfing and doing all those comps and that. And then as I grew up, I did a little bit more surfing, and then I found my path after a little bit and really loved racing and like being the first across a line, you know, like surfing can be super subjective. It's someone's opinion, on how you surfed. And like, you know, I got a bit stuck and a bit frustrated with those sort of things at times. So for me, lining up on the line and racing as hard as I can, and if you cross the line first, you know, you can't dispute that. Yeah, it's on you.
Even though you've got a team behind you, you're not relying. And I say this about rugby league. Like I always dealt with that as well. Like as good as you could play, or 7 of you would play, the other, you know, 6 in the team could let you down, and you come away with an L. Where those individual sports, diving, cycling, swimming, you know, surf lifesaving, boxing, fighting, as much as the team needs to get you there, you need to have like faith and trust in your team. Once you're there, it's you versus you.
100%, yeah.
That's one of your biggest competitors, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's a reason why people love individual sports and why some people don't enjoy it. Hey, because there is so much responsibility and like pressure people put on themselves in that. But I just think it keeps me accountable, makes me be super disciplined with it. I'm like, you know, waking up 4:30 every morning. It just keeps you honest with yourself, and you know that if you're probably not getting the results, there's probably a reason that it's come to that.
It's weird. Like some people always say, you know, the harder you work or the harder you try, the more results come. But you do. Sometimes if you just banging your head against the wall, doing the same thing on repeat, it's not getting it. So like you said, it doesn't matter how hard you can train. You can always probably pull it apart, find a reason. Oh, maybe I'm overdoing it. Maybe I'm not running enough. Maybe this is where they're picking me up in this leg or something like that.
Oh, for sure. I mean, especially in like our sport, like you can break it down like that, but then there's also like we're in one of the most forever changing environments ever, you know, the surf. Like it can change from hour to hour, yet alone like minute to minute. You can look at it, you know, and you get a flash rip that pops up. You know, you have to change your decision making for the race and that. So there's also a lot more than just like pure fitness, strength and power that goes into it. You know, you have to have a head on you and make the correct decisions when the opportunities in that arise.
Well, that's my next question. When you piss, do you piss salt water? Because I've looked at it. It looks like you've absolutely been brought up in the ocean in salt water. Like must drink it, put it on your wheat bix, everything like that.
Yeah, I don't think there's many days where I'm not in the water. I mean, like yesterday morning, I was up at 4:30, swam for 2 hours, and I try not to surf too much through the week when we're doing massive training loads, but I went over Burley Point yesterday morning, and I was like, it looks fine. And I was out there with one of my mates, and we ended up being out there for way too long. And then that afternoon, and then this morning, it had like a massive roller effect. And I was like, you know, bit of sanity. I enjoyed it, so it's all sweet.
Mate, I found that with rugby league, because same thing. I play, you know, professional rugby league or semi-professional rugby league, but I was always a surfer. I only went back to it because, you know, it was in my blood. My family come from a rugby league background, but I was surfing until I was 18, and I was like, same as you. Okay, someone said you need to commit now. I was like, okay, let's go do that. But I did the same as you, surf pumping. I'd go surf for 2-3 hours and then rock up. I'd have to drive down to Redcliffe because I was living on the Sunshine Coast, and that was the only Queensland Cup team in the comp. We didn't have Sunshine Coast Falcons or Sunshine Coast Seagulls there. And I'd have to get in the car after surfing 3 or 4 hours and drive down there and do a bash up session with, you know, 100, 110 kilo boys. And every time I was like, don't do this again. And then blowing a 4-foot pumping, you know.
It's bloody tough decisions. That was when I first moved up. That was probably one of the bigger things. Like I was struggling with the training load, like because when I was back home, I did everything by myself. So when I came up, I was training with other people, pushing myself to another level. But then, whenever the surf was good, I'd get carried away, and I'd end up run down or whatever it was. So that was a big thing for me. I had to learn to manage that. And I'm really good with it now. So that was I just got carried away. That was the first time in a little bit. But I try and save it for the weekend or in a little bit of a down weekend or down week when we're deloading or anything like that to. I want to go out for a little bit longer than I normally would. Usually try and cap it around like an hour or something like that. But
mate, was that a hard decision? You know, when you had to make that? I mean, like obviously, you know, surfing it opens up your lungs. You just naturally fitter. Swimmers are naturally fitter. I remember being the fittest guy in rugby league. We went and did a beep test with swimmers. They outran us all, and I was like, hey, what's going on here? You know, it's just that lung capacity. But was that a hard decision? You know, to let go of surf and go, look, I'm gonna. Because this needs 100% commitment. You can't do this 90% because you'll end up at the back of the pack. So being young and having such a love for surfing, did you always go, oh, maybe I'll chase this dream? Or
when I was younger, I was always like sort of tossing up between the two. As I said, initially I was like fully like going with the surfing career kind of thing. Then I had probably like a year or two spell kind of thing where I was just like pretty like kind of over it and frustrated with some of the outcomes and how I was surfing. I just couldn't seem to put it together in a heat. So, and I was like, you know what, like I was swimming like maybe like 3 times a week then. And I was like, you know, I'm just going to go and swim 6 times a week. It was like, it started off at like 4, then I went to 5. And then by like a month in, I was already swimming 6. And then that year, my results, like surf club based, just went through the roof. And I was like, you know what, like I'm enjoying the training. I'm enjoying pushing myself. Like, I want to do this. And then I pretty much just stopped competitive surfing and just started putting everything into this one. So I haven't looked back, you know, like I still enjoy surfing, but don't really miss comp surfing at all. I might try and do a few little ones every now and then, but yeah, I'm loving my choice.
Mate, look, comp surfing, weird, very weird. Like to get onto the WSL, you have to grovel. And you know, like kick and splash and that until you get to like proper waves of consequence. And it just can be so frustrating, like watching that. And you, like you said, not putting it together, and then you're bound by, you know, someone's decision and everything like that. So, you know, I can hear what you're saying there. Surfing's a very weird industry because there's so many better surfers than what's on
100%.
On WSL.
Yeah, you look at like the US Open that was just on, you know, they're surfing like pretty much a closeout little shorey thing, you know, groveling, weaving all the way through to the shore to get one little last turn in, you know.
6.
Yeah, and it's mental. And then the the CT, the out chokes or whatever it is, 10 foot, there's a massive difference between all of it. And if they could bridge that gap, they'd probably get like the legitimate surfers, I reckon, on there. But it's difficult.
We're bound by the ocean.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
The ocean, man, what do we do? But yeah, wouldn't it just be good just a 1 year? Just, you know, go on the groin, break it, and then you get chokes, and then you get, you know, cloud break, or you get pipe with a couple of dudes out, or you get snapper, or, you know, anyway. It'd just be the best.
It'd be mental. It'd be mental. I don't know. I love that, like, old dream tour, what they used to do. Hey, like, it's awesome.
Well, that's what my only surf hit growing up when I was a grown up, I think it was the 1990 World Championship Tour, because that's all the bids that we had, you know, there wasn't any, you know, sabotage or any, you know, Parko videos out yet. So it was watching Gary Elkins and Tom Curran, like, recon point. And back then it was like, there wasn't 10 stops, there was like 32 stops on the tour. Yeah, so you just like, well, this person was winning here. And I think that was the first year that Kelly Slater actually come on, and they were like, oh, unraveling this new 18-year-old Kelly Slater. And he was in France surfing. That's when everyone still had 6'6s. And, you know, but man,
shorting it down.
Yeah. But man, that era of surfing, you're exactly right. Like, it's just
so nuts. Like, you see some of the old clips, and they'd be doing comps out G-Land or Mundaka or like anything like that. They're like improper, like pumping waves.
Yeah.
You know, it even sucks now. You see them like surfing out pipe, and sometimes it's like 3 foot, and they're doing airs to get their like proper scores. It's like, when you picture it, hey, you want it to be like second reef, 10 to 12 foot, like 20 foot.
Everything we had
Just-
stuck on our wall, like,
Yeah.
as a kid, like,
So sick.
man, I remember that one. I think it was a final between Kelly and Rob, and you know, full combo.
Is that the high five
yeah,
one?
He's come
Yeah.
out instead of ripping a turn, he's just gone bang. Like,
So cool.
oh, yeah.
Love that.
But that generation is like, it's completely different. Like surfing's like completely different.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
insane. Anyway, back on board, man. we moved up here. You slid into Zane's place. You started training. You said your first like sort of week loads were you were struggling with it. What does a week look like for you?
Yeah, so our normal week load, we're waking up pretty much every morning at 4:30. In the pool Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, swimming anywhere from 5 to 7K, depending on like the season and where we're at and what goals we have. So like if we're doing the pool and go goal, we're, you know, do as many Ks as we can through a week. But so we're doing that in the morning, Wednesdays, and
Just I'll just pause you there. On the swimming, what do you guys like usually swim a kilometre? Because I know I go run 5 minute Ks or 5 minute 30s. What does it take you guys on a you know a good heart rate sort of base? Get it done.
yeah, so if we're doing like a short rest swim session, which is like, we'd be doing like repeat hundreds. So we would normally do them like on a 110 base. So we'll be coming in on like 1.4, 1.5 and just repeating that effort for anywhere from 10 100s all the way up to like 40 100s.
Oh.
So where the heart rate's up at here for like a prolonged amount of time. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's bloody tough.
Yeah. Right. Yes. Yeah. That's me for 50.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
dragging me duck ass just through the water like that.
Mate, there's nothing wrong with that. There's a few people that happens to in the squad. Yeah, even me, when you pop, you bloody pop.
You pop,
you,
yeah.
you sink.
Yeah. I learned that through marathon running. Just same thing. Took up running. Just
Yeah.
COVID. All right, let's do this. So you got to a 30. Getting your first event, your 30K up. Yeah, feeling good. Tapped onto the full 15 crew. Oh, there's the 4 minute crew up there. Yeah, we're sweet.
Push up.
4 minute. Bang. 12K in pop. I was like, oh, it started cramping. I'm like, I had to leave the last 18. I was just like, you idiot. And then from there, I was like, oh, heart rate training. Oh,
Yeah.
you got to understand your body. Because I come from a football mentality. Like, you go, you run, you get comfortable, you don't stop, don't be a pussy.
Yeah,
That's just what.
just deal with it. Like it's like the old school way of training. Hey,
Yeah.
just go hard until you crack pretty much.
Until
Hey,
you
and,
crack.
and you do it again.
Yeah, and then next week you might not crack for 30 seconds longer, but not the way to do it these days. So yeah, you busted your ass, you get up in the morning, you're swimming, and what happens?
Yeah, so that's 4 mornings a week, and then we're doing iron, so where we put it all together on a Wednesday and Saturday morning. So Wednesdays are normally like a shorter one, bit of a changeover, so we'll be switching from ski to swimming to board to running like really quickly, just changing over. But the Saturday morning sessions go like pretty lengthy. We'll do 2 hours when we're doing our shorter season, so like right in the middle of summer, doing like anywhere from like 12-minute to 40-minute races. But at the moment, we're in the middle of Coolangatta Gold training, so these sessions are going for 4 hours. You know, we're getting 40 kilometres done in the morning, you know, paddling 20 kilometres on the ski, and then running 2K, swimming another 3.5, and then board paddling 6.5, and then getting back on the path, chucking the shoes on and running for another 8.5K. So you're on the water and running and doing everything for a really long time. Yeah.
How's that? And
It's-
you
it's
train
pretty
like
nice.
so you'd have to be on point with your hydration, your recovery food,
Yeah, it's huge.
and you basically your vitamins and minerals as well.
Yeah,
so have you got that sorted?
Yeah, like it's literally like as soon as you like start getting like you have to stay on top of it throughout the whole week, and then as soon as you feel like a little sore throat or whatever it is, it's like double up on everything, and you're already doubling up on everything. So it's like you're just overloading your body, you know.
Yeah.
You're pissing out vitamin C, you're just eating it. But yeah, and then on top of that, the afternoons we're on the water for an hour and a half, either on a board or a ski. Anywhere going from, if you're on a board, you're paddling usually around like 6 to 10K. If you're on a ski, you're going from around probably 15 to 18K. And then throughout the day, with all your time, you have to get in gym and go get some other run sessions done too. So,
And recovery.
yeah, that's a big one.
Listening to Huberman, he's 1 for 1. You know what I mean? If you're doing an hour of training, you need to be doing an hour of recovery. And basically everyone, it's 2 to 1.
Yeah.
Or not, like most athletes, I say 2 to 1. Most everyone is 2 to 0.1.
Yeah.
No one does recovery.
No.
And you also, like, for every 2 hours that you train, you need to be doing an hour recovery out of stretching, drinking, hydrating, whatever it is. So I don't know. That's one thing that I learned. If my sleep's off or if my recovery's off, well, then the rest of my training is gone. Because obviously, like, how I work and how, you know, I got in my head is that 3 a.m. every day. I do so many things. I do the podcast, run a business. You know, I've got all these other sort of deals and stuff going on.
Huge workload, yeah.
My workload, like, time is my biggest currency. But that 3 a.m., and I've said it before on podcast, is my only 2 hours. Like, my phone doesn't ring. I'm on the road on my own. No one bumps into me. I can run wherever. There's no bikers going, get out of the bike lane. You know, like, I'm just gone. Yeah, if I just keep waking up at 3 a.m. and don't do any recovery, I'm gone. You know, and then even though my body clock's set like that, I'm just backwards and backwards. And I could be banging my head against, you know, a wall for 2 weeks until I realise, hey, that's what's going wrong. And like you said at the beginning of the podcast, you usually find something why it's not happening.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they say, it's like you got to put out, which is like your training, but you also got to put in, which is like, as you said, like your hydration, recovery, whatever it is, you know, like, I like to stay fairly on top of all that. Have like a little deal with a recovery massage center in Miami there. So they give us like free deals with like the saunas and the pools and the boots and all that. So trying to get in there like 2 to 3 times a week. So spending a bit in there and, you know, I'm getting a massage every now and then.
Yeah.
And
listening to the body.
Yeah, and I also go do chiro, which is like sort of like it's like chiro and kinesiology. So I'm like, I go there twice a week, so it's just like a little 15-minute checkup, and I basically go in there and be like, you know, my shoulder was feel like this when I was swimming, when I hit like a 200-meter point, it started aching, or did this, you know, not just like regular soreness, but like, you know, I think you need to have a look at this, and we go in there, tweak this, do that, and, you know, it just allows me, even if it's a bit of a placebo effect, you know, it allows me to think that, okay, I'm doing everything I can to allow myself to train harder, and it makes me train harder, you know, so I get a benefit out of it.
How much is it up here? Like that beating that little man in your head.
Everything.
Every single day, just like, no, don't put your shoes on. No, don't go. Like, no, just pull up short. No, you've done enough today. No. It's like the one thing that I found is the more you do and the more you silence him, he'll go away. But if you just leave the door,
let him in,
he can come back just like that, as loud as he possibly can straight away. And next minute, all that work to get him like back down here, sometimes it takes me like 2 seconds to shut him up. No, we're doing this, we're going 20.
Just full discipline, hey, but like if you, as you said, if you let it in, it takes a while to like rattle it back. Like you got to be on top of it, and it's like just saying yes to pain, yes to that session, yes to putting your shoes on, and then it just becomes just a habit. It's like
I got into such a good zone where if I walked past a piece of rubbish, I had to pick it up because I had the little man going, hey, you walk past it, little bit of rubbish, I own you. So I'd have to turn around, go back, pick the rubbish up, put it in the bin.
Prove you wrong.
Prove you wrong. But and then it was getting so bad, like, you know, transitioned into life and that. Like, I was like getting dishes and cleaning dishes too much. And Ellie was just like, what are you doing? Like, you're not there. You're not a professional athlete anymore, okay? But I just wanted to keep that little man quiet.
Yeah.
And it's such a big play, especially in sport. I mean, how many times have you does that cross your mind, especially when you're like exhausted? You know, things aren't going your way. Like, what was one of the races that sort of pinpoint in your mind that things weren't going your way and you're like, this guy's going, okay, save it for another day or something like that? Is there one that sits there?
Oh, mate, like, you know, when you wake up early for training or anything like that, you always have it there, hey? It's like, you never wake up and go, hell yeah, I can't wait to be in this freezing cold pool, swimming kilometres after kilometres. It's just this discipline, and it's like, I think I read it the other day, it was like, it's pretty much saying yes to what you want to be and not what you want now kind of thing. I can't remember how it was exactly worded, but there's heaps of races where like the little guy can creep in, you know. Coolangatta Gold's a massive one because it's such a long endurance race. Like, you got to be backing yourself, and it's a long time. So you're in your own head, and you have to be like fully present with your thoughts and not letting them catch up on you, because if it does, like, you could be ending like your race a lot sooner than what you're hoping for. But
and something like that, you have to stay to your game plan as well, because if you see someone go past you that you know you've got your strong leg coming up and then you tap on with him, you're running someone else's race. You're not running your race. You're not. And I don't know how, once again did that in that race that I told you about. Like, where you going? Like, no. Go around the next year, and the next minute he's laughing at me, going, no, crap.
Exactly. It's knowing your heart rate, knowing your zones, and knowing how hard you can go with also holding on. Like, so last year I did the Cool and Go Gold. It was my first year giving it a crack. You know, I did heaps of training. I had a bit of interrupted training with I was just like up and down with a bit of sickness and that. So I was like always juggling that and the training load, and probably went in just slightly underdone and got caught up at the front. Like, we'd done like some ski wash leads trying to hang on to Ali Day, who's the fastest ski paddler.
Yeah.
Like, he's ridiculous.
Yeah.
He just goes all day, every day.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting like just 6K in, and I was like, boom, just got flushed with lactate and was just like, they're just hurting. It took me like 2Ks to like fully flush out and actually be able to get into some sort of like a decent stroke and start trying to get back into this race. And by then, I already had like sort of misjudged it and was just off that front pack, and I pretty much did the rest of the race the next 3 hours by myself. So it ended up hurting me. Ended up 7th, so hopefully we can be back better this year. So training's going well and really looking forward to it.
Mate, while we're on the Cool and Go Gold too, big shout out to Reese Jury. I know you watch it, bud.
Yeah.
Got off his deathbed with the flu, cold, anything like that, and he came out and won that thing. That is one of the most unbelievable stories, because I remember, because we're about the same age, and I remember seeing that, like going, what's
So nuts.
Yeah, and then coming out and winning. Like, that's all little man in his head. That
All head, yeah.
It's all head. That whole thing that he did with mentality, like, you're not beating me. And just, I'd love to, like, I just love to have a camera in his brain that day. And just being able to, like, just all the thoughts and all the demons that he's
distracted, hey, and just like laying down the table to have a look.
Because he had every excuse not to be there. Every excuse. Like, he legit got out of hospital off his deathbed and still got it done and took the win.
Hey, that is huge. Like, I know Ali's had something similar to that, but he's never been on deathbed. But like last year, I remember he torn his calf 7 centimeters, and one other year he was also up all night, had like a massive belly bug, like, you know, covering everything, and you know, he's undefeated in that race. You know, he's won it 8 times. It's ridiculous. He's probably one of the best. Also, like Reece Jury, like just saying, no, shut up, mate. We're doing this. You know, like, tough it out. It's
man. Well, like you said, you just, like, I don't know if they know that either, because they're just in their process of doing it. You know what I mean? We're all looking from the outside in. And mate, you're only young, so who knows? The world's your oyster. Don't ever sell yourself short. That's one thing that I always noticed being a young'un. If I could give you any advice, was I was always hanging around guys like Ali Dale or some, you know, rugby league stars who I wanted to be like, and I always had imposter syndrome. And it wasn't until I sort of clicked on, hey, I'm meant to be here. I wish I would have clicked on like 3 or 4 years earlier, or 2 years earlier. And well, I think my whole career would have been different. But I was always in awe of what they're doing until I realised that, hold on, I can do what they can do, and not only can I do it, I can probably do it better.
Oh, that's huge in sport. Like, as I said, when I first moved up, like, I had that, you know, I was training with Ali and all these people. I was hanging out with Trevor Hendy, you know. Like,
hey, mate.
Yeah, you know, and you're like, this is awesome just to be training here. And, you know, I qualified for the series that year, and I went around the Cairns, had a few half-decent races, you know, didn't actually race to my capabilities that year, just because I was, like, on the line going, oh, that's that person, that's this person, you know? And then that switched for me. I finished like 14th, I think, that series. Actually, no, it was 12th, sorry. I mean, I only missed out on re-qualifying by a few points, and then that off-season, I was like, you know, I'm meant to be here. Like, I made that change pretty quickly, and that first race of that next professional series, which is pretty much like a year later, went pretty much toe-to-toe with Ali in the double M shape, which is like a 40-minute endurance race.
Yeah.
And I was like, just going around with him, just hanging in there, and then made a pretty costly error, like with like a minute left in the race, just ran in, sort of stuffed up my ski style a little bit, and he just snuck underneath this like little 3-4 foot wave, hit me on the chest, and I went from like equal first, like for 35 minutes of the race, and ended up coming 5th. But it was a massive turning point, because then I ended up winning round 5 that year, and it was like, you know, I don't feel like if I came second or something, I don't feel like I wanted to have won that, because it was like, you know, I got in my head going to that last bit, going like, you know, you can win this right now. And it was like, no, back to process. Back to process. Do this, do that.
Mate, but isn't that funny, the ocean telling you something? Like, just, you're on top of the world, it's happening, and then the world always has a way of going, oi, guess what? Nah,
pick it back a little bit, humble you.
Yeah, just that humble. I don't know how many times I've done that. I got married like 4 weeks ago.
Congratulations, mate.
Thank you, mate. Same thing, been long time coming with COVID. But yeah, we got married, best weekend. We did Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday we checked into the Jewel because we didn't have a honeymoon booked in. Monday night I got there and got that influenza that was going around. And I didn't move for 12 days off bed. So Ellie had to, you know, lie down the pool on her own, because she's married, and then we slept in different rooms because obviously I was crooking.
Didn't want to make sense.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, is this married life? Well, we didn't sleep next to each other for 2 weeks, you know what I mean? But yeah, I was coming off, and that was, like, weddings are sick. They're so fun, especially when they're yours. Yeah, and then just like that world of pegging you down and bringing you back.
It always happens like that, hey? Like,
that's that flow, that balance though, isn't it?
I guess it's like the surf, hey? It's like, you know, you're going to get a wave, sometimes the wave's going to get you. It's like that through life. It's racing, it's everything really. Like, you're going to have highs, you're going to have lows. It's just like staying consistent with it and not letting it really get you too down, hey?
Yeah. So we'll just go through these races because for everyone who's listening who doesn't know, like, you're talking about the Coolangatta Gold. These are long form races. But you said earlier, short form races, short form season, long season. Can we break that down? Like, just take us back to, like, you know, when the first race is of the season, what type it is, how long they go for, and when these long races sort of start and when the sort of season finishes as well.
Yeah, so the Coolangatta Gold is like, it's the first race that sort of kicks off the season. This year it's on the 14th and 15th of October. So it's pretty much like a 20-week, we do a 20-week training program into that. And then after that, for people that haven't auto-qualified for the professional series, they have to race the Nutrition Trials, which is probably about a month turnaround. So it's like mid-November, can't remember the date. And that for them is a pretty intense weekend. So you do 2 days, 3 races a day. They take the top 20 from the first day, and then they go into the next and repeat, step back to zero and go again. So you have to be super consistent, and you have to be really on for the weekend. So you have to be like in your head, just knowing exactly what you got to do. And that races, they vary from a 12-minute race, a 15-minute race, and a 40-minute race. So you do everything on that weekend, and then after that.
So how long does that last?
So that's just for that weekend, but then that sort of goes out throughout the whole season, which what we would call like the short course season throughout the summer. So we then will pretty much be racing from December through to February, March, pretty much every second weekend. And the races will either vary from a 12-minute like super sprint race, 15 and 20 minutes classified as like a traditional, and then you have like your couple of long ones, which will be up to like 40 minutes. So Coolangatta Gold's far longer than all these, but you know, they're all tough in their own aspect. It's awesome.
So what's the Nutritrain series? What races, how many is involved in that? And when you talk about auto qualification, where do you need to sit? How does that work? Is it like a points-based system like the WSL or?
Yeah, kind of thing, yeah. So there's 6 professional Nutritrain Ironman races through the season. There's 2 in December, 2 in January, and 2 in February. It's 20 points for first and goes all the way down to 1 point for 20th. And you have to be in that top 10 to re-qualify for the next season. So last year I qualified 5th, and the year before I qualified 6th. So I'm bettering myself and you know, looking forward to all that. And we also have another professional series, which is on Channel 7, which is pretty awesome. It's the Shaw and Partners Summer Surf.
Yeah.
And there'll be 5 races. They go North Bondi. We got one at Northcliffe. I can't remember the actual 3 other places, but there's some big money on those ones. If you win a few of those races, you could win $20,000 for the race win in that, which is pretty awesome. And they're around a 15-minute race as well. So the predominant, like for the dominant amount of our season, we're racing 15 to 20 minute sort of races, and then obviously have a few long ones, which throws a little something in the mix.
So 2 points I want to get back to the prize money there, because it's nearly laughable for a professional athlete.
Yeah.
It's good that it's there. But so if you re-qualify, how does that affect your training? What does that allow you to do? Does that allow you to miss that, you know, qualification 3 races a day?
Yeah, so it does. So before I hadn't re-qualified for the series, so there's a short course called Gold, which is pretty much just half the distance of that. So I trained for that and then backed up for the trials like 3 weeks later. But generally, if people happen to do the trial, they won't do any of the golds and will just do that and solely focus on that. But most of the people that re-qualify, then they go, if I don't do the Coolangatta Gold, I won't be doing the trials. I won't be racing for 26, nearly 30 weeks. So a lot of people then will go, you know what, I'm gonna do the hard yards in the winter and train for this Cooley Gold. And then I'll shorten it up straight after that and get ready for the series. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. We've got Ali and a few other people doing that. So
good. Get that good base and then, get really specific with what you want to do and all that. So I guess how many people are outside, the top 10 trying to get in? Like, is there hundreds? Is there thousands? Like, talking from a spectator sort of point of view, you don't see behind the scenes like that.
No, yeah, you don't. Yeah, like you have people moving over from South Africa nowadays and New Zealand, and you get a few like Americans and that coming over and joining surf clubs and trialing out and that. So we'd have 20 on the series, and there can be 200 boys lining up on that weekend. Giving them all, they've all trained us as hard as each other. It's super tight. It's just like whoever is on the day is the best. It's like
so it's not like a short season thing, and then they basically go, all right, well done, you guys get X amount of points. It's not like a QS grind.
No,
it's like you have to qualify for that race.
Yeah,
and then once you qualify for that race, you have to perform in that race to get points to auto qualify.
Yeah.
And then you got to go to the next one and start again.
Yeah.
And then you got to qualify, go through those 3 races a day, and then you got to set up the next day in the main race.
Yeah, not for every round. That's for that weekend is for the entire New Train Ironman series.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But it gets so confusing because you have like multiple series. So there's that one. So you have the weekend, which you'll qualify for the 6 races throughout the season. But then the summer surf one is you have probably even more, like 200 to 300 men or women lining up on a Friday afternoon trying to qualify for Saturday's final race, and that they do that for every round. So there's different ways that they structure all these professional races. So for me, like I'm auto qualified for the professional New Train Ironman series, but I still have to go and qualify for each and every round of the Shore and Partner Summer Surf Ironman series. Yeah.
Well, it's a good reality check, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Because you can get set in your ways and then next minute something goes wrong for a year, and then you got to start your whole process again. And you haven't been doing that process, and then that takes a year, and then you've lost a year out of the Nutri-Grain. Yeah, wow. Well, man.
Yeah, it's good to have that backup there for so many people are devastated at the start of the season. They think that you could get in your head and think, oh, my season's over, but because in our sport, it's the most money on the line in that Shore and Partners Summer Surf Ironman series, so there's still so much racing for people available. But there was 4 rounds in that last year, and I only qualified for 3. I had a mishap and didn't qualify. And as you said, it is a massive reality check when you don't do it. It's like, all right, at the drawing board, work hard, get back into my
because there's going to be someone nipping at your heels as well.
All the time. Yeah. I'm young, and there's even younger kids than me trying to make it improve themselves. So you got to stay in the game.
Yeah, that's it. Man, wow. Oh, that's a tough slog. So 26 weeks or 20 weeks into the Coolangatta Gold. When's off season for you? Is there an off season?
Yeah, we get off season. We're pretty lucky with our off season, but it's not too long really. So we'll do all that, and then we come to national titles, which is generally in April sort of time, and then you have, depending on whenever that is, you get the rest of that month, and then May off, and then you're back on it June 1st. So it's realistically you only get like 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks off a year. So some people don't like having as much time off, and they even shorten that down. But I like, having my downtime and being able to fully mentally reset, go for my surfs and do this and do that. And so that when I come back on June the 1st, I can just fully apply myself and be properly dedicated. Yeah. It's
funny you say that. Like, you're exactly right. Some athletes need to keep ticking the boat over. It's going. If I stop this, it's going to stop. I'm not going to be able to get it going again. Where other people are like, no, let's go stop here. I need 18 weeks and I know I'm fully fit. I'll leave 2 weeks buffer. And that camp will work perfectly. Boxers, time it.
Yeah.
Sensational. You know, they know if they need 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 6 weeks, they know if they can take a fight on 2 weeks. Where, coming from a rugby league background, you know, my progress was made through my off season. So then I'd hit off season in front of everyone else at off season, which would then put me in the coach's eyes. But it's a long season when you get bashed.
That's big with footy. Hey, people like the off seasons, like when everyone does, like they get fit, they get strong in that. Hey, because then once you guys are, you know, playing a game of footy every weekend, it's like just pretty much recovery. Hey,
it's recovery. It's you get your short and sharp in between, but all your work done is in that 4 weeks before Chrissy. Well, usually 2 weeks before you get to that 4 to 6 weeks, and then 8 weeks after coming into trials at February, and then away you go. But you look at the dressing shed, first game of the season, no tape, everyone's clean.
Yeah.
You look at the end of the season, there's like, you know,
Hold the bodies
just
together.
going in. There's 7 knees done, all the fingers are out. So it's just about, you know, taking that impact, and you don't learn that when you're young because you're trying to push into a position, you're trying to get a spot.
And you got to do it. Hey, don't
You
you?
have to, and that's rugby league. It's
Can't get complacent. Yeah.
Not so much for me. Being I was halfback, 5'8", around a lot, centre, fullback, played all through those positions. But if you're a front rower, and 20-year-old front rowers nowadays,
Take a beat.
They're big boys, don't get me wrong. But towards the back end of the season, I always wonder, this is why I always back teams with older front rowers. You know, if they're in the top 8, you watch the teams with older front rowers, like really come and put it on in the semi-final, in the quarterfinals, in the semi-finals. And then in the finals, you'll see like the young teams that have come out hard, made the top 8 because they won their first 12 games or something.
They're just full pieces.
They're tired. Their body's aching, and these older boys are a bit smarter, wiser, and know how to manage it. And,
choose their time, hey, just that counts,
Well, we've seen Wayne Bennett do that with South. They nearly pinched that grand final of Penrith.
Yeah.
It was Penrith or Melbourne, but they just made, the 8, and Wayne Bennett timed it, and next minute they were firing, absolutely firing, coming to the grand final, missed by 2 points. So as much as like Surf Lifesaving is like timing, like be out and back, a set pops up, like how important is that timing? Timing in boxing, you're half a mil here, half a second there.
Get knocked out, whatever. Yeah, as you said, timing, getting away, but then also timing, peaking, like making sure you're fit at the right time, because once you reach that peak fitness, it's so hard to maintain it there. So you've got to, you don't want to be peaking now. I want to be peaking in, 10 weeks for the cooling to go and then keep that through the rest of the season, It's a full measuring and weighing up act. Yeah, it's hard.
And you sort of know. So I ran the marathon, but that was the year that was virtual.
Yeah.
Which was sort of good because they give you a window to run it. And I knew I wasn't there. I was like, I'm going to push this out. Give me 3 more weeks. I ended up running my best time.
Yeah.
I think it was 3 hours 15.
Oh, awesome.
Which is good.
Yeah.
I was actually 90 kilos. I put on another 10 because you can't maintain that.
Yeah.
For my body. But but I knew I'm not there. I'm not there. And it'd be so hard. And I tried to time that. You know what I mean? I got it completely wrong. I was 3 to 4 weeks behind.
Yeah.
So it'd be so hard for you within your sport to go, all right, this is going to work and we're going to time it to the day, but then you have a miss out. Or you don't, or it does work out, like, geez.
Oh, it's like, you sometimes feel so awesome to do like a training block, but then you do like your week taper or something like that, and you kind of go into a little bit of a detox, start feeling terrible, and you're like, around, like, what have I done,
Yeah.
I should be feeling fit. It's so hard. You can get in your head with those little things, and usually you kind of pop out like 1 or 2 days beforehand.
Yeah.
And you start feeling awesome, firing, and you're just ready to go. But it's a full just like timing act really, and making sure you're ready to go. And when you're racing or playing a footy game every weekend, it's like recovery, get those couple of key sessions in just so the body's like ticking over correctly, and then boom, we're back on.
Yeah, man. Ooh, I love talking about this stuff. It gets me flowing, but
let's go run 10K.
Yeah, let's go. I usually do after the podcast. I said that at the beginning. I was like, you come out of these things like this, let's go do something.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird because after this, we high five and go, all right, see you, mate.
I'm going to go get on the grind.
Yeah. So, all right, let's break it down a bit more. Like, do you have a team that sort of like figures this out with you? Is that Zane? And also, like, what do you do with your food? Like, how much do you eat? Like, because you're doing a lot of training. You're 21, your body's already burning through everything. It's not like you're a 40-year-old who needs 1,800 calories a day. Like, what do you have diet? Do you have foods that work for you? Do you have not? Like, what have you figured out?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, I'm training that much. I'm a 21-year-old. I've pretty fast metabolism. I can pretty much get away with eating anything I want, which is like, a few people hate me for it, but like, I try and eat as healthy as I can. I'm having heaps of carbs. I'm drinking. I'm having heaps of protein. All that. I'm just getting all those dietary requirements and that. Nothing like super specific. Like, I'm eating this on this day and that blah 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 blah. Just making sure I'm ticking off all like the basics. The minerals, the vitamins, your proteins, your carbs, all that sort of stuff. I do eat a bit of chocolate here and there and all that. I don't do. My girlfriend's parents own Donut Time down in Burleigh, so I'm always getting a few of them every week. Just get the calorie intake.
Mate, do they have a like a gambling anonymous like ban me in the lead punk? Do they have one that down there at Donut?
They probably need one. They need to put me on it.
Yeah, I'm with that list. Do not let this bloke in. Do not let this bloke in. So.
Yeah, no. So just do all that, and I used to drink glasses of milk. Like, I used to just love it, like, for some reason. Then I found out when I came up here, like, once I started seeing my chiropractor and kinesiologist, I have like a little bit of like a dairy intolerance. So that's like one of the things, like a dairy and gluten type thing. So I'll if I'm out, I'll just order it on oat milk, or if there's like a option to have sourdough bread, like I'll have that. But other than that, it's just pretty much eat whatever I want, as long as I'm ticking off those big. So
you go on good foods. Doesn't like, as long as it's like your slow release energy, your wheats or your carbohydrates, you get it through that. You're not going, like, man, 6 burgers on 21, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no.
You're sort of choosing your proteins first. You choose your minerals, like, okay, this is what I need to eat first, and then if I'm still hungry, well, there's no restriction, I'm going to run 20 k's tomorrow.
Yeah,
like top up with that.
Yeah, heaps of bananas, heaps of red meat, pasta, rice, all that sort of stuff. So
you seen my cooking? Yeah.
No, I haven't.
I'll do you some steaks. All right.
Oh, mate, I'll love that for sure.
Mate, I've got the smokers going. I've got everything. I love cooking.
You should do that on the podcast. That someone comes out with the steak with a massive rack, and it's just go at it.
I got Steve Woolley, and I've got a couple of boys at the end of one, but I'll bring one at the beginning and we'll all sit back and start.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, it'd be good value. But that protein and that red meat, it just really. That helps your body recover as well.
Oh, for sure.
So what about, are you topping up with any supplements or anything like that? Or what, actually, there's a good question. What's the rules and regulations within, the Nutrient Super Series and that? Because I know, being in the NRL, like, if there was traces in the wrong, you can't get protein that's mixed in China. So because they mix the same thing as, 20 other things, and there's traces in it, next minute it's in your body, and as this knocks on your door. So.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's like any professional sport now. It's got to meet ASADA's requirements or WADA's requirements. I can't remember which one it is, but
change it 7 times.
Yeah, so you got to go and, like, whenever you get a batch of whatever it is, protein powder, this or that, you're meant to go log it into the things. So, like, if for some reason you did get caught, they can go back and trace it back and go, oh, right, okay, they changed this. You're not actually responsible for that. But, I have a sponsor called Amazonia. They give me some protein and some greens and everything like that. So, like, I top up with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've had whey ones before, but as I said, with that, like, dairy kind of thing, it was like, it would make my belly feel a little bit funny. So I found like that, the vegan side of it, like, I'm nowhere near vegan at all, but like it digests and like my body processes a lot quicker than anything else. So I'm getting benefits like really quickly and when I actually need it. So I'm finding it really beneficial. Yeah.
I've seen this brand out there and that. Yeah. Big shout out to them as well. Just the vegan, like, vegans wrecked the word vegan, didn't they?
100%.
They just ruined it because it's not that bad. It's just that all the stigma that comes with it as well.
Yeah.
And like you said, if you're getting your plant fiber and all that, or you pea or you isolate instead of your whey, and it works better for you. Do it.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
This is what I say to everyone. Like, there's a lot. I had Hannah on the podcast, and she's a genetic coach. So she's actually looks at your body frame and who you are and why you do things. And it comes down to like even points where why things are in line. Like if it's your social, if it's your training, and then your food. Where that might be for me, which keeps me in line, which keeps all my cortisol and all my chemicals in my body and then everything, lines up for that. Where Ellie is the complete opposite. I can eat one meal a day, no carbs, steak and salad, and I'm good. Where that little girl needs to eat 6 times a day, or she'll rip your head off, and she's half our weight.
Everything there's a rough guide to everything, but it's like everything is so personal. Like I was actually saying this to my girlfriend the other day, because she's training for the Coolangatta Gold for the first time as well, and she's had a few people say do this, do that in regards to nutrition based. But I said, okay, you take it, try it all out, and you have to just find out personally what you feel works for you. It's like food, it's eating, it's everything. Hey, it's training. It's
listen
like,
to your body.
You gotta. Okay, it's good having all that knowledge, and then you just take it and extract what you want from it, and you just figure out what actually works and what your body really wants. Yeah,
but it's weird. Like, this is another thing that Hannah said. Like, as our bodies change and your genetics, what's going on now, you'll do that for the next 4 years, and that's your system, and it works because it's working for you right now. Next minute, your body changes.
You have to adapt something else,
and then it's not working again, and you're like, why isn't this working? Like, you're on the cups of switching between these body types or these prototypes. So, man, for me, because I've done exactly that. I've had every single diet, every single protein put into me, every single supplement, every single bit of creatine. Oh, do this, do that. Because I was you.
Yeah.
I was 73 kilos ringing wet surfing.
Yeah.
And then I went back and played footy, and people were like, if you want to play footy, you got to eat.
Got to beef up.
You need some weight. So I ended up playing about 83, and then around 88 kilos, 90, which isn't big.
No.
It was towards the end. I got my man strength and that, but when I was a runner. But all those things and all those testings, throughout the, just throwing whatever into your gut and all that, I realised that that's the most important thing. Listening to your gut, getting that microbiome, getting that healthy and happy, and the right stuff into it, and then that transitions into your thoughts and your brains.
It's huge.
And your little man and your training, and it just basically stems from there.
Exactly. Yeah, you can just get on a roll with it. Like, it's massive. Listen to your body. It's with everything. When you have massive workloads like we do, you're always like teetering a little bit like on sickness kind of thing. You're almost like nearly unhealthy. You're like that healthy, you're unhealthy kind of thing. So it's like always like, how am I feeling today? Do I push it? Do I pull it back slightly? Because if you just run yourself in the ground every day, it's going to catch up to you.
Yeah.
You only maybe get like a 2-week block, 2 weeks good out of a 6-week block that you've done.
Yeah.
So it's like picking your sessions here and there and knowing when to go.
Do you have something like that with your coaches? Do you have like this is another catch-22 word, feelings?
Yeah.
That can go in the basket with vegan. It's just, but it's honestly like, if your coach asks you, like, how are you feeling? Well, 5. Or a number score of 6, or say, I'm 9, let's go,
So all of our coaches, Zane is really onto that. So he'll probably call me like once a day, and he'll go, hey mate, how'd you feel this morning? How are we going to go about this afternoon? And most of the time, we're just like going at it. But, if I go, I'm feeling like this way, he'll be like, okay, cool, rock up. We'll take it easy, or maybe, we're going to focus on skills today. Instead of going for a 10-kilometre paddle, we're going to do a few little ins and outs of the break and focus on skills and do something completely different, There's just time and places for everything, I rocked up to swimming literally this morning, and I was like to the coach, I was like, I'm cooked, hey, like, I'm not feeling like I'll be able to, like, get there for the session. And he's like, do this in the warm-up, let's get the body, like, properly moving, and let's see how you go. And I had to go, we had to do 4 rounds, this 50 set, a bit of speed work, and, I wasn't feeling that great, but I just pulled it back just that slight amount, like where it was only like half a second per 50, but it allowed me to get the whole session done, still get those kilometres up, other than just going, what, I've got to be doing 27s and just going flogging my body, and then not being able to do the rest of the week. So just playing that up, they're all very like on the ball with like progressive like training and all that stuff, so it makes it really easy.
So is that weird? Like, so who do you train with?
So in the mornings, I swim with, we have a surf squad. It's a combination of like some Northcliffe girls and us Surfers Paradise boys. We train at Bond Uni under the guidance of Chris Mooney. Do you know Kayla McEwen, the backstroker? So he's her old coach, and Cole Samuelson, who's the other coach on the side there. And those two take us through a lot of hard sessions every morning. So
well, not only that, but who's the surfers? Like, do you?
Zane Hamill.
So the blokes that you train with, you compete against.
Yeah.
That's a weird situation as
Yeah,
well.
it is weird, you know, like I'm a competitive bloke. I can get pretty fired up too with a few things. So that's always something I have to work on too, is like not getting like too invested into like where I am.
At
like,
training.
Yeah. Like, and just train. It is just training, you know.
And playing the boxer, playing the possum in the corner, and you think she got him, and then knowing that, oh, mate, I've got like 30-40% up my sleeve. I was showing you one side. That would be so weird, because then they're your mates as well.
Yeah,
like,
it's weird.
You spend and live with them every day,
Exactly.
every day, but then you got to go turn it on and
kill them pretty much. Yeah, like it's like
that switch.
Yeah, you got to have it. It's really interesting, that sort of stuff, hey, because it's like, you know, you see some like triathletes and that, like they'll just train with like one other person or stuff like that, keep it really alone, and like it's like real secretive what they do. But in our sport, you know, as I said, like we're training with another surf club, so you know, they could be going, telling the boys what we're doing, this and that, how they're going. So everything is so open and that.
Yeah.
It's real different. Like I've had moments before, you know, where I'm swimming next to Ali going, hell yeah, I'm swimming bloody good, eh? Like I'm on here, and then you rock up on race day and you're like, mate, this dude's got another bloody year.
He's
like,
dropped you.
Yeah, like there's been times that I'm like on his feet, just maxing out, and he's just going away from me, just slowly in the surf, and I'm like, oh, this is hurting. It's just that age, hey, it's like he's been doing it for, well, he's 33 now, I believe. So like he's got 11 years on me, 12 years on me. So it's just like when you have that consistency over years and years, it just compounds and compounds, and you end up becoming like a bloody animal like he is.
Yeah. And that's something that can't be, that's not a skill.
No, it's just time.
That's all. I guess it is a skill, but it's not. There's so much time that goes in to getting that heart rate down, to be able to stay, and the longevity of it. And that's what I found. Like talent, this really brings out, you know, the whole saying, you know, hard work beats talent that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because there is talent in surf lifesaving, but there is no hard work. If you're not doing hard work, you're not in.
No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're completely out of it. You're not, you know, banging the air reverse or skill and 9 on the buzzer or something like that. Or, you know, like stepping someone going through the thing, but you haven't done any tackles all game, you know. But you still win the game if everyone's on your fly, going, that was the best try.
Exactly.
There's no high in Ironman at all.
No.
All right, 20 grand. 20 grand. What's a Nutrigrain worth? 10? 5?
5. 5 grand, yeah.
What's 10th worth? Fuel money.
Mate, 10th doesn't get paid in a round. Like it goes 5 grand, 2.5, 1, 2, 5, and then it goes like 750, 250. So you got paid to like 5th or 6th or something like that. It's pretty bloody brutal. If you're not really in that top 5 overall, you're probably not making much money at all.
And this, just to break it up, we're not bagging the industry at all, because they're doing the best that they can as well. So this isn't shitting on Nutrigrain. It's not shitting on the Surf Summer Series. It's just that I guess there was that lag in the middle after Hendy, you know, and all those
massive gap,
huge gap, and they didn't. No TV rights, no TV deals. Because I remember growing up, I used to love watching.
They were bloody superstars back when Trevor Hendy and them were doing it. Like, you know, there was some races, I think, where they were like, if they won, you know, they had Nike sponsoring athletes and stuff. It was massive. I think there was a few races where, like, if you had a round win, you're getting like anywhere from like $50,000 to $100,000.
Which is
prize money.
Which is like 300 today.
Yeah,
which
is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So we haven't grown with it at all. But as you said, like, everyone is definitely doing a better job than they were like 10 years ago. Yes. We're getting in a better spot, but it'd be awesome to see it keep growing. Maybe get a few other massive sponsors a part of it.
We need some Saudi money. That's
I know.
Imagine if they come in and went, guess what? You're all millionaires now.
Yep, we're going to sponsor it. Put it on everyone. Everyone's craft and that. Mate, it'd be bloody awesome. Shout out to anyone from Saudi Arabia. If they want to get on or anything. So come over. Give us both a call.
Yeah, mate. Look, like I said, like it's just a dedication lifestyle, because the money's not there. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It does set yourself up for other things in life, just with discipline. You can translate these skills that you're learning now. They might not be work skills, but these hard work skills, And I always say this, I found that transition after rugby league or after, doing that, like, what do I do? Like this, I've sold my soul into this identity and now I don't have that anymore. What do I do? And it took me a few years, but I was just like, I just repeat this process with the next thing that I
Apply to something else.
Yeah, it's exactly the same process. And whether it's business or building or this podcast, all I do is get that process,
Do it in.
Do 2 hours of social in the morning, do this, this is training or this is game day for me. And I love it because I get to speak to amazing humans like you, but then I just go back and, keep chipping away in the process, let's put this out there.
Keep at it,
Yeah, learn about this. Oh, okay, that's not how you do hashtags. Like, it's a weird for an older man to like learn that sort of thing. But I just found that it's just repeat the process.
Yeah, literally, it breaks down just that all the time. Hey, but it's so funny you said that, like finding so many athletes like finding what they want to do after their career. Like you see so many people like struggle with it. Hey, like you almost want to start like thinking ahead, like what do I want to do? Like I'm not doing uni or anything at the moment. I'm just wanting to go fully in on this, but I've always said to mum, like as soon as I find something that I'm passionate about or want to do and I'll actually able to apply myself, I'll jump straight in and start setting up something after, but I always thought it'd be cool, to go down like a business route or something afterwards and go like, get in partnerships or whatever the hell it is. But yeah. Still get the surf much?
Yeah. Well, I haven't lately. I've ripped the tool bicep off my bone. Surfing. So I get working, stressing out. This is what put on a few kilos of weight. And I'm basically out of time. So I watched my brother get 4 burns. Just bought a jet ski. Bought a jet ski. Fuck, we hooked it up. Let's get a stratty. I was like, we looked at the front. Broady was pumping. I got in front of Carol. No one out. I was like, let's go. And I was so stressed out with work and everything like that. I was just out of sync.
Head wasn't in it, yeah.
I wanted to be there because I told work you're fucking. But I watched my brother get 4 in a row and I was like, this is fuck. And finally a set come out because I said to him just before.
Were you stepping off?
Nah, we hadn't got jet ski out yet.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna throw myself over the falls just to get back in rhythm. Fucking dart, pick up, swim back out, happy days. Anyway, I stepped up, finally left. I was like, dang, fuck. And it was just like lined up down there, just took it off, done a minute time, stuck my ass in, hand in the wave, just laid out your tube and just went pop.
Really?
Yeah. So, but this is, your body doesn't understand stress. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that was just the thing that just ticked it off.
Yeah. So even though I was stressing with work, my body doesn't understand whether it's physical or mental.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that the straw that broke the camel's back. I was like, fuck, I went to pick it up, went to paddle, and I was like, oh no.
That doesn't go on. Yeah.
So then that was like a whole process of getting that reattached and building it back up.
How long did that take?
It took longer because it was hanging on by a thread. He's like feeling it. He's like, oh no, it's still hanging on. And then I got a little bit of strength back in 2 weeks. And then I started losing it. So that was 4 weeks. And I was like, nah, something's not right. And then the X-ray didn't show and the ultrasound didn't show that we've got to go get an MRI. And then with getting an MRI, all the machines for some stupid reason were broken. So there was one MRI still working.
MRIs are so hard to get into, aren't they?
And I was like, look, they put me on a rush. Can I get in? Is this okay? And the lady was like, yeah, sure. I'll just move some of these cancer patients for you. I was like, oh, fuck.
Don't tell me that.
Yeah, so it's like she was taking the piss. I was like, oh, they put a rush. So that was like 4 to 6 weeks before I could get it.
Yeah.
So in that time, it's been like 3 months, 4 months. I've lost all my muscle retention. It's gone. They go in and they go, oh yeah, it's hanging by a thread. So then they booked me in, which took fucking 4 weeks. And they go in there, they had to cut it, pull it back down, screw it in. And then my process started. So it ended up being for me, it was something stupid, like 6 to 8 months. But yeah, ever since I've been back, I've just been trying to surf. I get back into it. Sonny's 2 now.
Yeah, right.
Trying to be a dad. It's good having him down the beach, but I just want to play with him.
Yeah.
Because, Tannen.
Yeah.
We're like 2 weeks apart, our kid and all that.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so we're always like seeing him or doing something like that. Always comparing him because he's out in boards and like I'm always down at the skate park with Sonny.
Yeah. He loves the skate park, does he?
Yeah, loves it. So we're like different like that, but all I want to do when I go surfing, I get guilty.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's on the beach, he's like that. You can see him running up and down.
And you're like, oh, I want to be out here again in Melbourne. I'm like, spend time with him.
So I get like 30 minutes away, he's kicking away and I'm fucking going.
Yeah. Oh, that's good though. biceps back now?
Oh, it is, but it's just been a long process, man.
Is it fully back now, or is it like completely back?
Yeah, now it is. But just that whole, it was just a shit fight. It should have taken Craig Bird, footy player.
Yeah.
He did his the same time as me.
Oh, right.
They went 3 days later, cut it, operated on. He was back playing in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
I couldn't lift anything for
You just got to know.
8 months.
You just got to know that people and they just go, we're doing this, we're doing that.
Well, the shit thing with me was, it was the same thing. Like with footy and that, I was always that.
Yeah.
In 4 days, I didn't know how to wait. I didn't know what that fucking word is.
Yeah. No, that's it. It's like me and mate. We have a GP that trains with us, right? So I can ring him on a Sunday night, and I'll be like, mate, I'm feeling this, and he'll just send me script after script after script. He's like, go get this now.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, in there, out, physios, anything like that. It's like, boom. Yeah.
You're a professional athlete, how fucking
Yeah.
But when it stops and you got to get back in line, man, I was the same. I was like, what the fuck's going on here? Yeah. Not shouting out, we weren't paying out Nutri-Grain, cash, money. Dubai, who's going to sponsor? Well, what's that look like for you? You know what I mean? Like, where's the income coming from?
Yeah, so predominantly, it comes from, I have a few sponsors. So Surfers Paradise, Surf Life Saving Club, they pay us to be ambassadors of their club. So it's not just being an athlete. There's a few other things that we do on the side, doing school visits and teaching. There's a whole bunch of a little checklist and that we tick off, which is pretty cool. But then Sean Partners in Race One Surfcraft are my 2 other big sponsors, and then I have open that to throw a few bit of product in there. But
your brother's a Queensland rep.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Hayes Mannion.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, so if you're not getting enough, let me know.
Yeah, I mainly do with Bo Emerton.
Oh,
yeah. I'll have to hit you up as well, though, too.
Yeah.
But, getting enough to just sort of get by. And then my mum and dad, I'm not living with them, but I'm still, they're still helping me out, to keep pursuing this dream and that. So, best parents ever, in my opinion, and the best sponsors ever too. Then whoever backs me, so it's awesome having that support. Yeah, it goes a very long way.
Well, doing your workload and then trying to work as well as a trade lawyer.
You can do it, but it's one of those things. It's you pretty much got to go fully in. The people that are at the top of the sport and have been for a long period of time have dedicated, every hour of their day to doing this. Whether that is they have, you have at 4:30, whatever it is, and then training, doing your recovery, doing your run, doing your gym, and then maybe it's having an hour nap or something before thing, these structures and that is so hard to completely, have a full-time job and put everything into the sport. You can't. You got to go fully in on it, otherwise it doesn't work. And then you'd be pissed off if you're, doing that and you're like, oh, well, I'm now not achieving my goal. So it's
that's exactly right. Imagine if you come second, 12 times in a row.
Oh.
And do
your head in.
Oh, man, do your head in.
No, I can't live with that. I prefer to just go, and hopefully some good sponsors and that along the way just keep and see the journey and want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Hey, it's
well, that's what this is about. That's what Any Given Chance is about. It not only just shouting out to listeners and anyone who wants to come on board and help or is in the surf industry, every little bit counts. And we spoke about this before, we raised $1,000 to get, Lydia Pope over to America to do a camp just for a GoFundMe. And it's all marketing and it's all, getting people on board. But that's joining part of the team. But not only that, we're teaming up with UltraBet, big shout out to UltraBet, just to, generate some sort of income. Because podcasts, you don't make money in podcasts unless you follow the algorithms and do stupid shit out in public with the cameras and one of those blokes. But with their sort of money, then we can distribute it as well.
Yeah.
So this is my plan with podcasts. Get it in, get those sponsorship monies from each and other directions. I'm putting out consistent content. And it's flashing everyone's eyes, their brand is out. But I don't need to make money off this. I need to take it, and then I can invest it. And like that. And then next minute, AGC's on the back of your shirt as well.
See, that's so awesome.
Next minute, people are and then that's it. Because I remember just going when I was went back to rugby league. I was living at Caloundra on the Sunshine Coast, driving to Noosa to render all day. Put a ton of render through my shoulders. Driving back to Caloundra, getting the stuff, and then driving to Redcliffe to go train.
But that's a big day.
Every single day. And then I'd go home, I'd get home by 10 or something like that, go to sleep, up, go to work. And I just remember this is, so I don't forget. And I just, you can pinpoint the people who are like yourself, who've got that laser eye focus that, possessions don't mean anything to you right now, I can tell. But that funding is not play funding. It's funding so you can achieve your goal.
Exactly. It really does. It's like, whatever it is, it's like that helps me be able to just completely, fully immerse myself and dedicate solely into that. As you said, like work and training, it doesn't go together. You're pretty much training all day by doing that. Like you rock up to your elbow session cooked, aren't you? Like it makes you just not put in a little bit less, and it just compounds and compounds.
The boys used to look at me and they're all like shoulder pressing, 25s, 30s and that. And I'm over there with 7.5s.
Yeah.
And they're like, what's going on with you? I was like, boys, you don't understand. I just put a tongue through my body. Like a tongue.
I've been pretty much doing this all day.
Yeah. I've got to do it again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, I just should have chosen a different industry.
Makes you tough, but like it's.
Well, I've got no shoulder now. So I was a surfer, rugby league player and a renderer.
You saying?
Oh, man, my left is cooked. And then I decided to go to boxing after I retired from I'm not the smartest when it comes to decision making.
Imagine not being me in many years, like just that continuous just rolling of your shoulders,
It's why it's so
catches up at some point.
Mate, I remember sitting in the sheds and coming, for a bloke's position, and I did my shoulder, and he's like, you got to look after that, make sure you take enough time to do your recovery. Shut up, old man, I'm coming for your spot. And, lo and behold, towards that end of my career, I'm like looking at the kids going, oh, look, you got to look after that.
Yeah. And they're going saying the same thing.
Shut up, old man, I'm coming. I was like, oh, that's what it feels like. But, mate, it pays dividends. So, keep at it. But, this is, once again, mate, just a big shout out. If anyone wants to jump on the back of Finn as well, mate, we've got amazing sponsors and stuff like that. But we'll give you a plug everywhere.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Try and get as many people as we know. And that's what this is about, building a community that people trust the Any Given Chance podcast.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Trust in bringing out people's stories and trust, that we'll do it the right way as well. So
because you haven't ever seen that really on any other podcast and that. So I think it's really awesome the way you're going about it and that. So
and like to catch on, and our goal is, like I said here at the beginning, do 100, and it's just everybody, everyone. We're on the Gold Coast. Everybody's got a story on the Gold Coast.
They do.
It doesn't matter if it's like the meter mates, like down there. They've got a story how to come to the Gold Coast and end up being a meter mate. I guarantee it'll be unbelievable.
It's all interesting in their own way. Hey, it'd be cool to just get like a massive checklist. Say, I want to get this person, that person, blah blah blah.
Well, we're working on it. It'll be good, mate. I guess we'll wrap it up there. We've been going about an hour now. This is a 4, 5, 6, 17-part series for you as well, mate. So
awesome.
The people want to stick with your journey. I know I'll be on your fly as soon as these races start as well on the Cool and Go to Gold.
Thanks,
I'll promote you, doing all that. But also just seeing what your journey is, seeing the hiccups, you get a comment, mate, how you going this week? We'll put it out there and tell everyone, because, if they can follow your lead in, training and that dedication and everything like that, I guarantee everyone's life will get better. We get stuck in ruts so much. Just a rut. And, watching something like you on a weekend, like you said, this podcast, he pulls you up.
Yeah.
If I see you run, get a win.
It's an awesome environment down those beaches, and being around it all is just, it's uplifting. As you said about this with the podcast, it's also the same thing. You're like chatting about really good stuff. It's uplifting as well. It gives you that much energy, and being around like that all the time is just, it's so good for you.
Yeah. And I guarantee, like the next day, after watching that, or seeing like, I'd be going, there's no way I'm not missing a training session the next day. So, mate, Finny boy, thank you so much for being on today.
Appreciate that. Really love being on here.
Yeah, stoked, and I'll see you all soon, guys. As always, like, share, subscribe. I think this is how we grow. You've got to hit that button. You get it out to your family and friends, and of course, mate, if you know anyone, a good story, or I miss it, send them through. That's what we're here for. So, all right, I'll see you all soon.